Hello everyone, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. So it's the end of the month and I've come back to make a what I've colored for the month of March video. So I colored a lot as usual. I think I had 11 pages that I colored this month. So yeah, I was pretty busy. So we'll just go ahead and get started here. I'll set this pile of books off to the side here. So we're going to start off with this first page here that I actually copied onto Strathmore Bristol Smooth paper. It's out of, let's see, what did I titled this one Cherry Tree Girl. It's out of this book, Coloring Fantasy Volume 2 by Scott Howden. And I love his artwork, I really do. But I don't care for the paper. The paper just, doesn't hold up to mixed media or lots of layering with pencils. So what I have done with this particular book is I will cut out the pages that I want to do. That way I can have a nice clean copy without having part of the binding shadow included. So anyway, yeah, so with this page, what I did was used my usual Prismacolor pencils, and I did a distress ink background on this one with the water spots method. I called it the Zucchini Kitty method because I learned it from her years ago on her channel. Anyway, it's one of my favorite background methods. So yeah. The next one that I have here is one that I'm really, really proud of. So lately I have been working a little bit with pan pastels for skin. I haven't used them for anything other than that. But it really made it so much easier. I'm way more happy with the results doing portraits. And the skin is so much smoother. So what I was doing is using the pan pastels for a base layer, and then going over that with a little bit of my Prismacolor pencils just for some shading, and adding her eyes and eyebrows and lips and blush. But that really seems to work for me. I'm really happy with that method. And on this one, I don't know what it was, but her hair just came together so easily for me. And I'm really proud of her hair. I love this, kind of strawberry blonde, reddish hair. And I love the color combinations that I used for her hair. So I wrote it down, which reminds me, I started keeping a coloring journal, and I will go over that in a minute. But yeah, so I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Normally this would have intimidated the heck out of me, not so long ago. But I was able to tackle it, and I feel like I really did it justice. Very happy with this one. So what I was talking about was a coloring journal that I just started. I just got this journal. I picked it up at, Target. It was very affordable. I think it was like $6.50. But I really liked it because inside, and I've already started it here, it had, I'll go to a page I haven't worked on yet. So it has this blank area here, which I can record my color combinations, and then the lined note area down below, which was perfect. So what I'm using it for is for each page, I started with my oops, no, it wasn't that one. Yeah, it was. Okay, I started with my Magnolia and Bird page from Hannah Carlson's Seasons. So what I'm doing is for each page that I color, I am writing down the main color combinations that I used, and what I used for the background, I just abbreviated it BG. And any notes that I had for that page, maybe like this one, I wrote down that I used Juilliard pens number 8, number 32, and did a little swatch of those, and that they're from the Earth and Skin set. I also wrote down that I used the white Posca, and I made white acrylic paint splatters. And I also dated it from the date of completion. I think it was either the date of completion or the date I posted it. I think it was the date of completion is what I was doing there. That way, because I've found myself over the years going, what did I use for, that particular element of a page? And I was like, it is high time that I actually wrote down the colors that I use for each page, and the combinations and all of the accents and everything. So, and especially now that I have my coloring channel, that way I have easy reference. Oh yes, I use this and this and this, and I don't have to go back and find the video and go through the video. So yes, this is going to be very nice, very handy to have on hand. This is the page, the notes that I wrote down for my Hannah Carlson Daydreams, the Orange Flowers and Bluebirds page. So yeah, I wrote down the combinations for the flowers, for the leaves, the birds, what I did for the background, the date I completed it, and other miscellaneous notes down below. So that's going to come in really handy. Anyway, back to what I've colored for this month. So we'll go to the next book, which is Tales from the Witch's Cottage, which was kind of a new to me book. I just got it, I think it was about a month ago, maybe, or 3 weeks ago. Anyway, so it's very, new to me. And what I colored in it was the first 2 pages, which you may have watched those videos. This was the intro page, and I did a video for that. The background that I used for this page was actually my first time using the Distress crayons, and I believe it was in Chipped Sapphire. And I remember being kind of, a little disappointed with the line that showed up right here. So there was like some kind of flaw, or I don't know if it happened during production or during shipping or what. But yeah, it didn't really show up until I started doing the background. I mean, I didn't even see it when I was doing the cork, but it is what it is. And yeah, I went ahead and posted the video anyway because it had some good techniques in it that I wanted to share. And this was the last page that I did in March. And it's, of course, the name page for this book. And I did a little bit different technique with the Neo colors in that I just faded out the edges so it looked more like a watercolor background. So that one was kind of fun. And I used, of course, the Prismacolors, and I did a little bit of stickles on this page. I don't know if you can see that, but I tried not to raise them too much. In the past, what I've done is just made dots of stickles, but this time I kind of just did a little circle so that they wouldn't be too raised, because I have had a hard time when it comes time to do the opposite page on the back of where I have applied stickles. If it's super raised, it really creates a kind of a funny mark if I am having to color in that area. So I tried not to do that this time. Okay, so the next book is Daydreams, and I had 2 out of this book. We'll start with the one furthest in the back. Okay, this was, oh yes, my pink flowers and butterflies. I was really happy with this page, and I noticed it has gotten a lot of views, so I think people have really liked it as well. And, you know, my typical medium, Neo color background, Prismacolor for the rest, and then I use those Art pens as accents, the white Posca on the little bees there. Yeah. Oh, and, you know, stickles for for the dots on the butterflies. And I did a little rose gold, I don't know if it's picking up there, rose gold shimmer paint, or shimmer spray, I should say, that I had laying around from when I had been doing my scrapbooking supplies. Kind of, some of them I can use for coloring as well. So I'm happy to do that because I want to use the supplies that I have as much as possible. And, you know, why have them sitting around if you're not going to use them, right? So, yeah, this one turned out really well. Very happy with it. Okay, and then the other page I did out of this book was my orange flowers and bluebirds page. And that one, oh, I really didn't know how it was going to turn out at first, but definitely was happy how it came together in the end. So yeah, the background is Neo colors, Prismacolor with the rest, and the Art pens and white Posca. And I did white acrylic splatters on this page. Turned out really nice. All right, and the next book is Hannah Carlson's Seasons. I only did one from this book. Yeah, and it was this one right here, the Magnolia and Bird page. And this one kind of gave me a little bit of trouble with the border or frame. I used the gold Winsor and Newton ink, and oh, that stuff is beautiful. I love it. But I tried applying it with a little tiny paintbrush, and it just got all over the lines. So then I had the idea to go back in and re-outline it with a black micron fine liner, and it turned out really well. So I was kind of afraid that I had ruined it there, but in the end it was just fine. So yes, here I did a background of Distress Inks with the water spots, and then I did an overlay for the background of the acrylic paint splatters. Also, I used the Art for some of the highlights on the page, like you can't really see it in the leaves here, but I outlined the leaves with it here, and I used it in the spots on the flower. So looking back on this, I kind of wish that I would have maybe done something a little bit more right in here. I feel like that part is a little forgotten, but I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Okay. And the next book that I worked out of this month was Botanicum by Maria Trollet. And I did the page that I titled Echinacea Fairy. And it's this one right here. And I used Neo colors for the background. And I used my, I have a circle stencil that I used to create these bubbles or a faux bokeh effect in the background. Using my white Prisma pencil. And I used Prismas for the flower and the fairy, of course. And I used, it was a Sigma silver sparkle pen for outlining these flower petals down here at the bottom. I don't know if it's picking that up there, but yeah, that silver sparkle in there just kind of gave it that extra something. I also used Wink of Stella on the upper part of the flower here, and I don't know if you can see that, but the Wink of Stella just added some light sparkle to this area. And a few little stickles. And oh, I used a little bit of Wink of Stella on her little fairy wings there too, as well as white Posca accents throughout the page. All right, and the next one I colored in was the Harpy from Kirby Roseanne's Mythomorphia. And I was really happy with how this one turned out. It was a lot of work, but it turned out great. It's, you know, it's one that I'd been wanting to color for quite some time. And I love the color combination. She really pops. And the fact that I outlined all of her feathers and the falling feathers with the white Posca really added to it as well. And I used a Wink of Stella on her, pretty much all of her feathers and all of the feathers that were falling. I don't know if it's picking that up, but I like the Wink of Stella. I use it in quite a bit of my pages. It adds sparkle without creating texture. It's smooth, and the sparkles are not like overpowering either. So that's why I like using it a lot. So yeah. And let's see, I got two more here. Okay, so mandalas. I've only done one video coloring mandalas, but last year excuse me, I colored mandalas for like, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 months straight. During the process of our moving, we moved to a different state last summer, and the mandalas were keeping me sane. Let me just say that. I mean, and it was easy. I had like 2 or 3 mandala books, and then I just had my little case of, I like to use the Arteza. I don't know if it's Arteza or Arteza. I use the Twee markers, which are a double-ended marker. There's a fine liner on one side and a brush pen on the other side. And I probably colored like 50 mandalas during that time. But, you know, it was easy. It was portable. Our move was drawn out over like 4 months. I won't go into it, but it was quite an ordeal. And so I do love coloring mandalas, and I will be doing more. This is actually a fairly new book. This was the first mandala I had done out of this book. And I really like it. It was, you know, it's 125 mandalas from Coloring Book Cafe. And the mandalas are really pretty, and they're not, I mean, I like intricate mandalas, but these ones aren't super intricate. So, you know, they're very easy to color. And this is the one, I just went ahead and started with the first one. And it was fun. It was fun and relaxing. And while I was doing it, I was like, oh yeah, I miss doing these. And so I will probably be doing more mandalas. Definitely at least do one a month anyway. So, and last but not least, I have Anastasia Koldareva's book, Nocturnes. And I was really happy. This is actually the only page I've done out of this book so far, too. I was really happy I got to do this page. And this was another one where I used the pan pastels as kind of a base with the Prismacolors over the top. And I wanted to do her a little bit darker skin than what I normally do. Honestly, I had in mind that her skin was going to be even darker than this, but it turned out lighter, which is fine. So yeah, I use the acrylic paint with my little dot tool for the beads up here in her hair and little beads accents in her jewelry. I used kind of a watered down acrylic with white paint with a sponge for these clouds in the background. That's a technique I love to use, it, and it's so easy. And yeah, the rest, so background, of course, Neo colors and Prismacolors. Oh yes, and how could I forget? I have been in the past pretty intimidated to do large birds and feathers. And I don't know. Sometimes I think, you know, in your mind, you kind of hold yourself back sometimes. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. And I had a reference picture, one that on Pinterest, one that I found on Pinterest, that somebody had colored this page, and they had colored the ravens black. And I was like, I'm just gonna kind of follow what it looks like they did. And it was actually much easier than what I had in my head, thinking, oh, this is gonna be so hard. I don't know if I can do this, but I did it. And, you know, I just encourage anybody else out there that thinks, you know, oh, I don't know if I can color that. Just give it a try, you know, and you'd probably surprise yourself, really. So yeah, a little bit of encouragement there. So that is it. That's my last page. And yeah, so for April, I kind of wrote down a list of things I'm going to try to do. I would love to do a page out of Kirby Roseanne's new book, Mythic World. Definitely going to be doing a Clara Markova page. I'm actually working on it right now from Tenderful Enchantments. So that will be out in a couple of days. I'm thinking, I ordered Maria Trolle's new book. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'll probably be doing a page out of that, and I want to do a page out of Luna. Of course, Hannah Carlson. I will always default to her books, and you can always pretty much count on me doing at least 2 of those a month anyway. I would like to do another PDF portrait, like Mariola Budek, excuse me. Possibly one of hers. And somebody had requested that I do a page from Johanna Basford's Inky or Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. So I might try and get to one of those this month in April. So anyway, so that pretty much wraps it up for what I colored for the month of March. And as always, I thank everybody for watching. Thank you so much for my subscribers who watch my videos and comment. All your beautiful comments are so wonderful to see, and they're definitely encouraging. So with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks again for watching. Until next time, see you later.